So picture this. It's February 26th, 2025. Federal agents are forcing their way through these huge, reinforced steel gates at a massive estate out in New Mexico. And inside, they find the bodies of the legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Now, the official story was pretty straightforward, natural causes. But, the scene itself, it told a very different story. And what they found beneath the house? Well, it suggests that the actor's greatest secret wasn't on screen, but buried 300 feet below his floor. What those investigators uncovered would, honestly, rewrite everything we thought we knew about him. For decades, we knew him as the tough cop, the brilliant villain, or the hero who didn't want to be a hero. But it turns out the most compelling character Gene Hackman ever played was himself. He was the quiet guardian of a secret he took right to his grave. And all the evidence suggests this was a role he was, well, destined to play. To really get this mystery, you first have to understand the man. And Gene Hackman wasn't just one man. He was two. There was the public figure we all thought we knew, and then there was this completely different private man, the keeper of a profound, and I mean profound, secret. It's almost prophetic when you read that, isn't it? This line, inspired by his most famous roles, it just perfectly captures the life he was secretly living. He wasn't just playing out these conspiracies on screen. He was living inside one every single day. The contrast here is just startling. On one hand, you've got the public actor, the guy his barber knew, who talk about Hemingway for an hour, the man who joke around with vendors at the local farmer's market. But on the other side, you have the private guardian. This man lived in a 23-acre fortress with 12-foot stone walls and surveillance that one security consultant called military-grade paranoia. This wasn't just some celebrity wanting a little privacy. This was a man building a containment facility. And that facility was finally breached on February 26th. When a handyman raised the alarm, investigators walked into a scene that just felt deeply wrong. And that was long before they found the secret hidden under the floor. The official timeline is just chilling. Betsy died a full week before anyone found them. For 7 days, Gene Hackman was alive in that house with her, but he didn't make a single call. And here's the crucial part. The internal cameras had been manually disabled. So what keeps a 95-year-old man silent for a whole week? It's not just grief. It was the knowledge that calling for help meant exposing what he had spent his entire life protecting. And the scene inside was just off. Furniture had been dragged from spots where it had sat for years. Books were pulled from shelves and shoved back in the wrong order. A bedroom safe was found open and completely empty. Someone, and it was probably Hackman himself, had been desperately searching for something, or maybe hiding it, in those last silent days. But the real discovery, the big one, wasn't in those ransacked rooms. Nope. It was behind a perfectly hidden panel in the library, a panel that led down, deep into the earth, and into a mystery that started long before Gene Hackman was even born. 312 feet. Just try to imagine that. That's how deep this stone staircase spiraled down into the cold, damp dark. Agents who went down there said the air smelled like a tomb that hadn't been opened in centuries. This was no wine cellar, folks. This was a descent into another time. Okay, so here's the crucial point. A structural engineer looked at the photos and confirmed it. Hackman didn't build this tunnel. He found it. He moved on to this specific piece of property and inherited this massive secret. His life's work wasn't creating some mystery. It was becoming its last guardian, reinforcing its walls and making damn sure no one ever found it. And what was he guarding? It was like a time capsule of the impossible. A 1937 photo of some secret meeting. A German ledger from 1947 just filled with codes. Tools with internal parts so precise, they just defy the era they supposedly came from. And, maybe most telling of all, a hardwired secondary communication line that connected the house directly to the chamber. It was like a ghost line, untraceable, ancient, but somehow still functional. One of the most haunting details actually came from a forensic technician. He described the schematics carved into the walls as engineering from nowhere. I mean, what does that even mean? It means the blueprints weren't just advanced. They were based on scientific principles that have no known origin. They don't trace back to any scientific tradition we recognize. It implies a level of knowledge so far beyond our own, it just deepens this whole mystery. So when you think about what was discovered down there, Hackman's reclusive, almost paranoid life, it suddenly makes perfect sense. It wasn't paranoia at all. It was a job. It was the burden of a guardian. I mean, look at these steps. He wasn't just building a house, he was systematically sealing off a secret. Those 18-inch thick concrete walls a contractor was hired to build, they weren't for a wine cellar. They were for containment. The ironclad NDAs for his staff weren't about celebrity privacy. They were about operational security. Every single choice he made was in service of the thing that was sleeping right under his library. This is what he told a neighbor. She had complained about these strange industrial vibrations coming from beneath the property right in the middle of the night. He wasn't being cryptic. He was telling her the absolute, literal truth. He knew exactly what was below the surface, and he knew it had to stay there. So all of this, the fortress, the artifacts, the silence, it all leads to one final, terrifying discovery at the very bottom of that tunnel. This is the endpoint of the entire mystery. Just picture it. You're deep in the earth. You've walked past crates of impossible technology and walls covered in this unknown science. And there it is, a massive iron door. It's got no handle, no visible hinges, nothing to suggest it was ever meant to be open from the outside. It's a full stop, a barrier. And this is the detail that changes everything. The door wasn't just locked. It was sealed. It was welded shut from the inside. Just think about what that means. Someone was on the other side and sealed themselves in, never intending to come back out. This lock wasn't designed to keep people from getting in. It was designed to keep something from ever getting out. It was a one-way seal. Which leaves us with the final haunting question. Gene Hackman inherited this secret and he dedicated his life to containing it. But in building a fortress to protect the world from whatever was inside, did he also build his own prison? Was he the guardian of that door, or was he simply its last victim, trapped by a duty he could never, ever escape? The truth, whatever it is still waiting, sealed in the darkness.